Der nächste Vortrag wird auch
The next speaker will also be given in English, even though we will not look to the UK, but to France. We have invited Pascal Grosjean. I would like to welcome him very much. We saw that France obviously takes advantage of most EU funds, and Germany often says that in spite of the fact that they take advantage, maximum advantage of EU funds, livestock protection doesn't work either in France. You work at the Agriculture and Forestry Ministry, and you will provide us with an overview of the implementation and financing of livestock protection measures in France. Welcome to our project, and we are looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much. Good morning for all. My talk is about wolf population, wolf damages, finding feature and policy, herd and flock protection policy, wolf management, and main current issue and project. In France, wolf population is estimated around 921 individuals. It was 793 the previous year. The wolf population keeps growing, plus 17%. Figure takes into account very strong pack growth. The number of permanent areas in France and packs is permanently increasing. 106 packs plus 19 in 2020 and plus 99 in 2020. Permanent presence area, 125 permanent presence area, 100 previous week. You see the progression. Wolf population is spreading on new areas. 45 departments have experienced livestock damage in 2021. 36 in 2020. Sheep are most of the victims. 93% sheep, 4% goats, 2% cattle, and 1% other animals. In spite of all geographical spreading and growing wolf population, the number of animal kills has been stabilized since 2019 and slightly decreases in 2020 and 2021. Around 12,000 by year. It's important. Strong decrease are observed in Alpine department where reduction first arrived and where protection is no better established. Finding payments due to wolf attack is available from all domestic livestock, sheep, goats, cattle, dog, llama, etc. Since 2019, in accordance with rules in high production zones, finding is subject to the implementation of at least 2 protection measures among 3. Guarding dogs, shepherdings, electric fences. $3,537 findings compensated in 2021. $3,670 in 2020. 10,826 victims compensated in 2021. 11,746 in 2020. The total payments for finding was about €3,500,000 2021. 4,200,000 in 2020. The financial support for protection measures based on location and is available for sheep and goats. Funding is provided by national and European funds within the framework of EAFRD. Shepherding, electric fences, guarding dogs, technical assistance. $50 departments got protection measures in 2022, 44 in 2021. The total amount of payment was €30,042,000 in 2021, or 37.55 billion euro of eligible expenditure, and 2063 in 2020. 6%. The average amount of findings per recipient is €10,000. 3,000 breeders applies for financial help. 8%. A figure in 2021, 40 departments that I said. $3,000 folders, 531 time recurrent reports, 5,060 42 guard dogs, 2,083 breeders in 2021, for 183 days, flat rates on average per file, or just over 6 months. You can see grading surveillance is the more expensive in the measures. In accordance with your legislation on species protection, lethal intervention only be allowed under very strict conditions, provided if there is not satisfied alternative solution, provided it is not detrimental to the maintenance of a favorable conservation, to prevent serious damages, in particular to crops, livestock. In France, the annual shooting ceiling is set at 19% of the world's population since 2019, with a possibility to go up to 21%. $112 horses were killed in 2021 out of selling of 118 purchases. The public policy aims to concentrate intervention in prevention hotspots. I can explain to you the defense action we scaring infers scaring without prior approval requirement, except protected areas. Sound or visual scaring, not lethal shots. The prefects may appoint lieutenants of wolves for scaring operation. In second time, simple defensive shot. One single shooter, protected earth. After a reinforced defensive shot, 10 shooters max, protected earth, despite the implementation of protection and simple defensive shot, a farm that has suffered at least 3 attacks in 2 months, territories that have suffered significant damage. After, as you see, answers scaled based on predation risk, looking for risk action, indiscriminate killing shot, exceptional damage despite protection and simple defensive shot, consistence of attack after 2 reinforced defensive shots, authorization of the prefect of department fixing the number of horses in the territory concerned, after advice of the prefect coordinator, possible shooting during big hunting party or drives. All shootings involve herds exposed to predation. The condition In national nature reserves, wildlife conservation, and in the heart of national parks, where hunting is prohibited by the decree of creation, shooting is prohibited. In the heart of national parks, where the decree authorizes hunting, 7 national parks, for example, defense shooting can be authorized. Main current issues and projects in France. Providing quality and secure protection dogs based on a better knowledge of dog at work. A database will be soon implemented in order to register characterization data in dogs. With time, the objective is to provide a selection tool. Strengthening human resource to answer the monitoring of the wolf. Preparing the next protection measures frame within the next CAP 2023-2027. Preparing the strategy of the next National Action Plan on Wolf and Livestock Operations 2024-2029. Thank you for your attention. You have my contact. I hope it's interesting for you.
Herr Grosjean, es war sehr
Mr. Grosjean, thank you very much. It was very interesting. Thank you very much for your presentation. We have already received a number of questions.
Sie hatten ja gesagt, dass obwohl
you said
der Wölfe steigt,
that even though the numbers of wolves goes up, the number of wolf attacks goes down.
Niedrigeren Risszahlen damit zusammenhängen, dass
could there be a correlation
abnimmt?
Or could it be that perhaps people are more reluctant to notify the authorities about killings? Or is it because of better life protection measures?
La protection est mieux mise en place et mieux maîtrisée par les éleveurs.
The hair protection measures in place are definitely better, and they are also implemented in a better way, and I'm sure that's the reason.
Dankeschön. Dann eine Frage.
Thank you. There's a question for you in English.
Themselves, or are these interventions enforced by licensed hunters?
Les bergers et les éleveurs peuvent tirer s'ils ont le permis de chasse. Dans le cas contraire, ils sont assistés par des chasseurs. Nous avons aussi 2 brigades d'intervention.
Those who have a license can shoot themselves, but if they are not hunters, then they must address hunters, licensed hunters. Otherwise, a shepherd can also hunt on his own.
Les chasseurs qui interviennent ont tous eu une formation.
Like the shepherd, if a shepherd has a hunting license. What happens though around here is that shepherds,
qui ne sera pas en situation d'attaque, ne doit pas être tiré.
If they are attacked, if the herd is attacked by a wolf, they are allowed or entitled to shoot the wolves themselves.
Direkt noch dazu, schafft die Entnahme von Wölfen,
thus the retrieval of wolves or the possibility to take out wolf increase the acceptance amongst the farmers?
il n'y a pas de volonté de réduire la population de loups compte tenu des engagements internationaux et européens.
We don't want to reduce the number of wolves because we did sign international treaties and agreements.
Puisse être colonisé. Par contre, il y a une volonté.
And in all areas where wolves can settle and live and establish themselves, they should. What we want, however, is not to control the numbers of the wolves, but the numbers of the attacks. And there are some herds that are attacked very much, others not so much. And we are trying to find out why this is. We don't know yet, but we don't know yet. We don't have the answers yet. What is clear, though, is that wolves are expanding in France. They're continuing to expand. And wolves have already reached the Bretagne region, which is the very west of France. Thank you very much. I also have a few questions from the audience, and I would like to call on Mauro Bellardi. I guess you will ask in English again. Mauro.
Yes, thanks. So the situation is that the wolf is expanding despite of 10 years of culling. My question is, how can the effectiveness of prevention systems be measured in a context where 20% of the wolf population is killed? How can you understand to what measure these small results or the lack of results are due? So my personal opinion as expert is that the culling doesn't work and that the small results are due to the prevention measures. But how you can say this or the opposite in this confusion of different measures, preventions, culling, tir de defense, simple or enforced, it seems to me impossible to establish. Thanks.
Alors, les gens ont tendance à se demander pourquoi il y a toujours autant de conflits en France alors que le soutien financier est si élevé. En France, depuis le début du retour du loup,
we often hear that there are still a lot of conflicts in France, even though there is a lot of financial support. Since the wolves were reintroduced in France in 1992, herd protection measures were implemented without prior planning by the farmers themselves and also by the breeders. And initially, they wanted the wolf to be accepted, even though wolves and herds are absolutely incompatible in their view. And this was definitely too late, the way they saw it. The implementation of measures was too late. A vulnerability analysis that was absolutely necessary in a program such as this, and also with a herd protection plan. Well, and protection measures that also want to protect the herds and the summer on the herds is something that must be implemented. And this has not always happened, which is why some funds could not be retrieved in time, which is a shame. It's really a shame, because otherwise we would already have a good basis for work, which would have allowed us to already install measures, protection measures in the areas where the wolves are now moving to. Lucas Ende, please. Hello, thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I would like to know, I'm not really sure what these indiscriminate shooting or shots are allocated, like when were wolves shot in this context, and what were the reasons, what was the reasoning according to Article 16?
C'est une mesure exceptionnelle pour faire face à des situations de prédation.
That is an exceptional measure to make sure that if there is a high number of attacks or killings, to make sure that there is direct protection. Especially then when the normal protection measures are not effective enough. So punctual responses to punctual situations, to exceptional situations that have been classified as exceptional. This approval can only be granted by the prefect. This is the person who can say how many animals or what animal can be shot. This also means that the normal warning shots or defensive shots have already been implemented and did not lead to a good example. Does this answer your question or not yet?
Ja, also das fällt auch unter 16b dann.
So that's part of 16b
Zum Schutz von Weidetieren.
for the protection of grazing animals. Correct. Absolutely.
Gut, danke schön.
Thank you.
Angesichts der fortgeschrittenen Zeit möchte ich jetzt gerne nur noch eine Frage zulassen. Und lieber Max, ich hoffe, du bist damit einverstanden, dass ich den Uwe dran nehme.
Since we're running out of time, I would like to call Uwe, and I hope you forgive me, Max, because Uwe hasn't asked as many questions yet, and we have time for one last question. Uwe, please.
Dankeschön für den sehr spannenden
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation.
der Förderung.
About the distribution of funding, you said somewhere that 42% of the funds go to employees and service providers, and I wanted to know what service providers the services these are. Here, for example, a big issue is mowing around the area around the fences, and in Bavaria we have a lot of actors who are not working full-time, and sometimes they have the problem that they not only that they don't have the funds for the protection measures, or that they would need to hire someone for the service. And then we often hear, well, this service does not exist. We simply don't have people we can hire and pay for that service, such as mowing. Do you also know this phenomenon, that apparently there needed a market to establish itself? And do you know what is being paid? Like, is there pay per hour? People who work in livestock protection.
Le retour du loup a permis de relancer la profession de berger. C'est vrai que nous avons...
Well, it is clear that the reintroduction of the wolf has definitely risen the number of shepherds. At the beginning, we had big problems to find staff, to have shepherds available.
Ne finançons que des exploitations agricoles.
However, some learned the trade quite quickly, but what France did right from the start was the following: we only fund farmers, breeders,
La protection n'est pas
who do this for other reasons.
Par contre,
where there is no fund, or this is where there is no funding for livestock protection measures.
Les subventions sont à hauteur de 4%.
And then there is financial compensation for the killed animal with a rate of 80% of the value that is compensated, except if we are in a national park, a nature reserve, where the subvention or the compensation is 100% compared to the value of the animal. The reason is simple. The reason is that there we are not allowed to either kill the wolves or shoot defensive shots.
Gut, also Max Rosberg hat
right, Max Rosberg, you have a short question. I think he must ask it. So Max, please go ahead.
Sachant que je reste avec vous et que par le chat je peux répondre en français ou en anglais.
I'll be happy to stay here in the chat. I can't answer in German, but I can answer in French or in English if you have a question in the chat, and then also in the discussion later. But thank you to Katharina and Steffi. One quick question. You said you funded shepherds. Is there a cover of their, is there a cover of how much they can earn?
Plafond dans les dossiers de subvention.
Yes, that's true. There's a maximum when it comes to funding. And this leads to the fact that not 100% of the salary of a shepherd can be covered. We have about 80%. In other words, 20% need to be covered by the farmer. This is an expense of the farmer. Thank you very, very much, Mr. Grosjean. The number of questions shows that your presentation was very interesting. It really moved us. Thank you very, very much for your presentation and also for your offer to stay and answer questions in the chat. Thank you very much and all the best to you in France.